Yo, what's up? It's Kaiju Unlimited here with the chapter review for Kaiju number 8, chapter 109. And I'm gonna get into it. It was a really good chapter, but we gotta go into the last chapter first a little bit. We saw Kaiju number 9 mixed with number 2 in his new, absorbed form, battling Kafka using all of his squadron style moves, and the battle was just amazing watching Kaiju number 9 slowly learn every move, telling him, give me more. It was super chilling to watch and super intimidating as well. Just whenever you think that Kaiju number 9 has Kafka at his limits, Mina arrives with a pistol in hand, ready to back him up, and it's an amazing moment. And after all the action we've been getting recently, I thought the trend was going to continue towards more, but I was wrong, and I can't help but be happy that I was, because we are getting a really good chapter this week. But before we get into it, I'd just like to address you guys, anyone who's watching the video really. I'm just a guy who likes to read manga and watch anime, and looking to build a community of people who are like-minded like me. So if you like the video, go ahead and like, subscribe. I'm going to be making more Kaiju number 8 reviews in the future, and potentially Kaiju number 8 B-side as well. Now that I've gotten that out of the way, let's discuss the chapter. It opens up with a flashback of Mina and Kafka as kids in the same library. I believe that we've seen them in before. Mina is questioning Kafka on the type of officer he aims to be, and you can tell that the question catches him by surprise just a little, but then after thinking for a moment, he dons that classic goofy Kafka smile that we're used to. Now, no offense to Kafka, he's my boy, but his answers are exactly what I'd expect from a 13-year-old kid. A snazzy combat suit, an unleashed combat power of 99%, I think like the strongest in history, mastery of the sword and sharpshooting skill, a 10,000 kaiju kill count, and being number 1 in the popularity poll among captains like 10 years in a row. And I love this look that Mina gives him. It's like, is that all? You want anything more with that? And you know she lets him hear it for that childish ass response too. Her answer to the same question still has that childish-like hope for the future, but not for the same kind of selfish reasons that Kafka wants. Her goal is to save as many lives as possible. She claims that no one will die on any mission that she's a part of, and you know she couldn't leave out the pets. R.I.P. Miko! No, but seriously, you can tell her answer isn't what Kafka expected at first, and I'm right there with him. This is an 8-year-old kid. Let me say that again. An 8-year-old kid who's worried about not only herself and her future, but the future of all the people of Japan, so that she can prevent anyone out there from feeling the way her and Kafka did that day that their town was attacked by kaijus. I don't want to harp too much on Kafka, but hearing their goals from way back then, you can kind of see why him and her ended up where they did as adults. Also pretty ironic how, since they have become adults, they've been mirroring each other's goals from the past. Granted, Kafka's only since he got Kaiju number 8, but still, the character is there. He only ever transforms if he absolutely has to, and if it's needed to save a life. He had the opportunity to when he was taking the exam to get into the defense force, but he wanted to earn it himself. And besides mastery of the blade, I would say that Mina has quite lived up to Kafka's goals. Now it's his turn to hit her with the funny face and point out how unrealistic her goals are. She snaps back with, "What do you know about being realistic?" And man, I'm loving this flashback so far. Just seeing Mina and Kafka as kids in the same library scene we've seen them in before, developing that relationship and their goals for the future. They may joke around and give each other a hard time, but in the end, they're always there for each other. As we see Kafka give her that toothy grin and say, "Let's make it happen with the two of us." And we get a sick panel of Kafka and Mina standing side by side that I believe is in the anime opening. Just as a side note, if you like the manga but haven't checked out the anime yet, what are you doing? That shit is flames. Back to the current events though, we can see Kafka looking a little worse for wear. He's not too bad or nothing, just a little bit of blood dripping from his face. He's been fighting number 9 for a little bit now. And he looks up as Mina approaches, and the way they panel this is just awesome. You can feel the hype of every step, every moment, as we get to see, for the first time, Kafka and Mina fighting side by side. He calls out to her, but she cuts him off immediately with a quick liar. And his face here had me dead when I was reading the chapter. He's like, "Come on, Mina, you know I was about to say something cold as hell." No, but seriously though, she continues on about how he said he would catch up to her when he joined the defense force. even mentioning a time in the past whenever he tried to do stuff all on his own without relying on her. And I'm not really sure where this flashback comes from. It looks like they're in their 20s to me, but like I said, I have no idea, so if you guys have any idea, let me know in the comments. Kafka takes in everything she says and then reflects on how Ichikawa helped him learn to not do everything by himself and to rely on his comrades. See, I know I was capping on Kafka, but he's grown so much emotionally since the start of the series. Having to acknowledge his shortcomings of the past and his promise to his best friend, and then having the strength to overcome it and keep fighting. I mean, it's not like he has another choice, but this shit means something to me, man. He replies, "Sorry, not only did I get here late, but the person I am now isn't the one I expected." You can feel the regret in his words. Mina feels it as well as she pictures all of her fallen comrades. Now this is cold. The look on her face and then the line in general. I haven't been able to become the adult I aim to be either. Even so, we have to keep moving forward. Now I know this is just a manga, but that's just a good message for life. Keep moving and striving to improve no matter what you do or what it is. And hey, if you're ever going through anything bad, keep your head down. You can make it through the storm. I believe in you. But with a loud boom, Kaiju number 9 appears again. And let me just say this is my first video. I didn't cover last chapter. It looks so damn intimidating. That number 2, number 9 combo form. Because number 2 is one of those we really haven't seen too much from in action, only heard about, if we're not counting the numbered weapons form. So it should be super dope to see some more of its abilities in combat. Kafka claps his face to calm his nerves as Mina and him ready themselves for the approaching battle. And Kafka seems to be feeling some doubt or regret in the moment, and then we see Mina crack a smile as she calls out to him. "Thank you for being by my side," she says as we get this nice double-page spread of Mina. In that moment, it all clicks for him. All those childhood dreams that they schemed up in the library, they may not have come true, but he still has that one promise to Mina, to fight by her side. Then as Kaiju number 9 approaches, we end with a sick panel of Mina and Kafka, first as kids, but now adults, exclaiming, "Let's wipe out the Kaiju together." And that just about wraps up the chapter. It was a real good one. Not the most action, so if you're a big fan of action, maybe not your favorite chapter, but I know I sure loved it. A thing that stands out is Mina and Kafka's relationship has finally come full circle, with them fighting side by side, fulfilling that promise they made as kids. And not only that, but all the little moments they've shared and Kafka's been pushing for since he's joined the Defense Force. And just having Kafka by her side is gonna push her and give her that cliche anime buff of having your comrade there. Like, just check out the look in her eyes. However, it will not be an easy battle. Number 9 has been battling Kafka and learning his moves, so he can't use them anymore or catch him by surprise. Unless Mina opens up a way for him, that is. Speaking of Kaiju number 9, it's already such an intimidating character because of its intelligence. Now it has number 2 as well. I'm very interested in seeing how things develop between the two because their demeanors aren't similar at all. Number 2 was a very prideful kaiju and fought to the very end of its death. Meanwhile, we've seen Kaiju number 9 retreat and fall back when it needs to. And we've seen that Kaiju number 9 has a goal. It wants to take down the Defense Force and steal back a great kaiju power, setting up different plots and manipulating the Defense Force. And after absorbing Kaiju number 2, he is now known as the King of Kaijus. Speaking of number 2, we could potentially see some of its abilities in combat used by number 9. Just imagine Kaiju number 9 pulling up, shooting electricity out of its fingertips or out of its mouth like number 2 did in the past. And I can see it making great use of the sonic blast that it could fire off. It's going to be real interesting to see how they include the number 2's fighting style alongside number 9's. Because man, I really hope they do. And for next chapter, I really think we're going to get more action. I know I said I thought that for last week, but I can't see how we don't go back into this fight with Mina and Kafka. I can see them working really well together. With Mina's destructive firepower, I really think that she'll be opening up holes for Kafka to use his squadron-style moves and catch number 9 off guard. And Mina will probably be targeted by Kaiju number 9 because of her destructive power, but we know that Kafka has her back. I think the battle will pull toward Mina and Kafka's way, at first, but Kaiju number 9 will reveal a trick that it's been hiding up its sleeve. We'll have to see on that though in future chapters. Let me know your thoughts on the chapter in the comments and any chapter predictions you may have. And that's a wrap on the review. If you enjoyed, hit that like button and a sub if you want to check out more Kaiju number 8 chapter reviews and potentially Kaiju number 8 B-side if I start getting the hang of things. Lastly, I just wanted to say thanks for sticking to the end and checking out the video. If you have any advice for me or anything you want to say, just leave it in the comments. I'll be sure to read them, and I will see y'all later.